Hello, and welcome to a short introduction to the love of the Tayamni by me, T.A. McLaughlin. I hope you enjoy the video. She saw a vision of herself as she was now, a cyborg, dans macabre, a partially organic brain sitting atop tubes, carbon fibers, and articulated mechanisms. A marionette suspended by strands of exotic metals. Soon her species would be extinct, all dead, a collection of dying machines, bred, created, and educated to one end, existing for one purpose, to accumulate wealth. We have given you the same bodies as us. Your DNA is spliced with ours. You can understand our thoughts, hear unspoken words, feel what is in our hearts. You can sense the power, the greatest power that exists, the only power that can save your people, the power of love. It was in this manner that Berenib was born, or rather reborn. From an ancient, withering race of cyborg creatures, she was given new life. Her people, the few that remained, were given physical bodies. In subsequent generations, Berenib's people would do the same, bring back creatures on the brink of annihilation, connected to the power. They would seek out species to save. You will get used to it. You'll learn how to manage your body's needs and urges. She stopped, reaching into a pouch attached to her belt. Here, have some water, my son. He fumbled with the flexible bulb of liquid, not yet accustomed to his new body. Finally, he brought the pinched end of it to his lips and squeezed. Water spilled from his mouth onto his clothes. She'd visited here as a child. At that time, they'd lived on the ship, bringing candidates inside for treatments. As a little girl, she'd seen them for the first time. Small craniums, hairy bodies, eyes wide with wonder. "But where is my sister?" Latresh demanded. "You said she would be here." "Do you not recognize me?" Namazu asked. Her mother pointed to a lighted shape as it flew silently through the air. It seemed to emerge from rocks behind the building, flying into the darkening sky. Latresh backed away from them. Looking at Namazu's face, she suddenly recognized her sister. 2 weeks ago, she and Latresh had been the same age. Now, her sister was a woman of 30. She had reached the age. The realization hit Latresh like a thunderclap. On some obscure level, in a part of her consciousness that had been hidden, she had already known they were not human. Not like the Adamu in the village, nor even like the humans who lived in the desert. They were something else. Creatures with magical machines, gods or spirits who could travel through time. She remembered running through the valley, over sharp stones, through dried brushes, thorns tearing at her. Her linen shift was ripped from brambles and thorns. Her dark hair hung together in clumps. Her mother had lied to her. The life she had been promised would never be. She wept. She had lost her future. She had lost her reality. She had lost herself. A flash of light, accompanied by the sizzle of heated elements, burst forth from the bed, as a matrix, lattices of radiated yellow light materialized above. A pungent odor of burning filaments filled the room. Then, just as quickly, the lattice vanished, shot across time and space. Batresh regained her footing and stood upright. The chanting stopped. The Hathors stood back from the bed, staring at the lifeless body. The matriarch was dead. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. She didn't recognize the woman looking back at her. Instead of black hair and dark skin, a woman of Northern European descent looked back at her. Blonde hair, a pinched nose. She whispered to herself, Batresh is no longer here. I have decided to remain here, Batresh told him flatly. But your DNA is modified. Your hair is blonde, your skin fair, like Northern Europeans. Your body is prepared, he said. It is your choice, he continued, walking closer. They will remove the nanobots, and you will age like humans. He looked down at the floor, as if he were searching for something. Of course, your gifts will be wasted. Batresh brushed loose strands of hair from her forehead, catching a glimpse of the Lee County Courthouse on a hill to her right. Mindful of where she was, she looked towards the street, congested with large vehicles. The sidewalk was crowded with workers going to cars and women leaving shops. In front of her, stopped in rush hour traffic, was a dark green Chevy from the previous decade. She had found him. A boy peered through the back window. He watched the old men. Tiny and fragile, with dark circles under his eyes, he couldn't have been more than 5 or 6 years old. Denny dreamt of his former life. His life as a woman, living in a palace at the great river, looking at the moon as it appeared in the afternoon sky, dim and almost transparent. He had no memory that he had helped to design the Tayamni base on the far side of the moon 100,000 years ago. The Potaka's most lethal weapon are biological agents, the computer voice continued. Diseases they created swept over human populations, wiping out whole villages. In the Middle Ages, humans told stories of seeing them dressed in dark robes, scattering viruses and deadly bacteria on the wind. Batresh passed a brick building, stained with rust from metal plates. A block ahead, the signal light turned red. As she walked, she heard steps behind her. They sounded small, and their steps inconsistent, as if they were not accustomed to walking in shoes. As they grew closer, she felt the cold again. It is good to see you again, ma'am, the little man offered. No more than 5 feet tall and very thin, he had applied makeup to his face in an attempt to darken his complexion. This one had genetic modifications. His eyes were smaller, almost human-sized. Aware that people were looking, Batresh smiled. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met. She looked up at his face, but couldn't read him. The man in the blue shirt, standing across from her, listened carefully, as if eager to protect a young woman from an aggressor. Yes, ma'am, I am certain I know you. The room grew hushed. Another alien species has arrived at this system, One with whom the Tayamni were engaged millennia ago, the warning repeated. Now these Tlalalocs have allied with the Potakas, improving their technology to lethal effectiveness, the warning continued. They may even have intercepted communications from the temporal portal. They knew Batesh Uwana would be at Tupelo before she arrived. Instantly, self-defensive techniques downloaded to her cortex rose to her consciousness. She lifted her left knee strongly, striking him in the crotch, then came down with her heel, crushing the bones on the top of his foot. With the same movement, she jerked her free hand up, hitting his chin. He bit his tongue. Bones in his foot were broken. One of his testicles ruptured. He moaned and fell to his knees. He had blood in his mouth. Who attacked us? Ptah asked. The ones who sent the false message, the Tlalocs. Who? Ptah asked again. They are helping the Patakas. Amun looked ahead, but could only see the sky, beginning to illuminate with the rising sun. Or rather, Amun continued, the Patakas are helping them. The Tlaloc commander ordered his crew to raise shields and flee. Their greatest advantage, the element of surprise, was gone. Taharko's laser had pierced through the body of a Tlaloc crew member. At the center, a circled drive, more teardrop-shaped than circular, was conveniently defined by the Lyceum at one end and a Confederate monument at the other. Appropriately named, Namazu thought to herself, recalling the original ancient Greek Lyceum, a center of learning and dispute, hosting such controversial philosophers as Aristotle, Socrates, and Plato. A fitting place for battle, she whispered. Arish's eyes were closed. She seemed to be sleeping. Her immune system was fighting the biological weapon. "Wake up!" Namazu shouted again. Keeping the medical cylinder in contact with Arish, Namazu reached up and pulled her hair hard. Arish gasped and began to breathe. "What?" Arish whispered. "Seedlings," Namazu responded. "Concentrate." Jerry darted towards Batresh when another blast hit him, knocking him to the pavement. He stood, unhurt. The shields had protected him. "Son of a bitch!" he shouted. He knelt over Batresh when another blast struck him. His shields activated. "Take the Ayulu," she whispered. "It's in my palm. Open your hand and think of where you want the beam to fire. It's operated by thought. The shields can't." Her voice trailed off. A pool of red liquid began to spread under her. Jerry knelt in deep, crimson Tayamni blood. "I will send messages via the Jovian portal," Batresh sighed and looked down at her feet. "You know, even though only 2 weeks will go by for me, 15 years will go by for you. So even if I send you a message every day, you may only receive one a year." "I know," he responded. "If I had known you developed these feelings for me, I would never..." Her voice trailed off. She looked back into his eyes. Now they saw each other. She thought she would never understand this culture. She turned away from him. Goodbye, until the second book slideshow teaser, The Judgment of Seth. We will see you then.